like a very healthy marriage. Like initially when I met you, I wanted to kill you. And now I just want to spend the rest of my life with you.
living a full and well life is put together, authentic.
We feel it.
Take care of ourselves.
Hello, and welcome back to the Wishing You Well podcast, where we help you navigate your wellness journey each and every week. I'm Amy Albero.
And I'm Catherine Van Eyck. We are both licensed therapists and talking to you about all things wellness. Especially today, we're talking about wellness trends for 2024, or predicted wellness trends of 2024.
Yes. And some of these were exciting to see, and some of them I was like, so I'm excited to talk about them together.
Yeah, we're going to talk about them, and we're going to play a little game, whether or not we want to keep them.
So before we get into all of that, like these wellness trends, we have to check in and do our weekly self-care check-in, but just to like give a little behind the scenes peek into the Wishing You Well podcast. This is actually Catherine and my first time recording together since September 20 something of 2023. The date of recording is January 17th. So we haven't like done a full on self-care check-in in months.
Whoa.
So you had a baby.
So I had a baby. Just a little life change.
Just a light bit of news. Yeah.
That happened. And now self-care is a whole different ball game. I don't like it. Or I do like it. I don't like that I don't have it in the way that I did. That's been very different.
So it looks different.
Yes, looks very different. Which I think you and I will totally unpack some more in an upcoming episode. I won't go into that too much. I will say that, to be honest, I have no idea what my self-care is today.
Okay.
My skin is dry. My hair is blah. Beauty self-care is out the window today. Not feeling myself. So I think it's gonna be back to basics. Stealing from Amy. My self-care today is drinking from my Stanley knockoff.
Cheers.
Cheers. Drinking lots of water, and maybe that'll help my damn dry skin.
That can, right. And sometimes like that's like all we can do, right? We can just do the best we can with what we have. And if water hydration is it, like it's got to be enough.
Yeah. Sorry to anybody that was looking forward to something spicier, but it is bland water today.
Well, let me just, and speaking of like basics, like, are you sleeping? Are you eating? Like all that kind of stuff. Are you getting sunlight? It's
okay.
cold.
Those are good to note. Sleeping? No. I finally know what your life is like.
Being an insomniac? Or
Yeah,
just
maybe.
being
Oh,
up at all hours?
yes, I should text you in the middle of the night now, actually.
I'm awake.
Yeah, so sleeping is a fun little game now of like, ooh, when's baby gonna wake up? How much time will I get before she does? I can kind of predict when she's gonna wake up now. Like she's pretty consistent with habitually waking up at the same time every night, but she's always waking up at least 2 times a night, sometimes 4. That's great. That's a great time if she does that. But if it's like 2, I can handle it, and I feel like a normal human the next day. Last night it was 2, and then she snuggled up with us at like 4 a.m. for 2 more hours, and that was lovely. So I feel okay sleep-wise today, which is really nice. Eating I have prioritized from the get-go. Started off with people feeding me, and now I can do that myself. So I do make sure that I get all the nutrients in, and all the calories in, because I need a lot. When you're breastfeeding, you need a lot. So I'm definitely making sure I'm doing that.
Good.
Yeah. Not hungry.
That's good. That's good.
Yep.
Okay. So like basic needs are kind of getting met-ish.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Ish. Ish is good. Self-care-ish.
Mhm. Mhm. Self-care light.
Self-care light. Yeah.
Mhm.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I did not just have a baby, but the past 3 months have been, filled with a lot of different things that I, of course, can fill you and our audience in on another day. But I feel like I'm cheating a little bit because I'm doing a self-care check-in coming off of vacation and being in Miami where it is,
Mhm.
75 and sunny. So it doesn't feel fair in a sense, but self-care, I've really toward the end of 2023 like reached a peak burnout point in a place that I haven't been in like literally years. And so I've like really tried to prioritize self-care in a different way, like much more proactive and intentional way with like building in, even if it's like a 4, 7, 8 breath, like a paced breathing exercise every day, just to kind of get that practice going. I have been prioritizing sleep, and I bought a sleep mask that also has headphones in. And so I've been putting on Insight Timer either a sleep meditation or like kind of an ambient noise to fall asleep to every night, and that has been a game changer. Sorry, Catherine, to rub the
That's
sleep in your face,
amazing.
but it's made such a huge impact. So I'm feeling a bit more rested. And I think I'm just like trying to keep the momentum going so I can like keep these habits for when life will inevitably get busy.
Mhm.
I mean, imminently, with the start of like semester, like school semesters and whatnot. So self-care is feeling like I'm almost having to forge a new path because I feel like completely I mean, my self-care was like in an oblivion state. It was bad. So I'm feeling like I'm having to relearn things all again. And like, I guess in some way similar to you, like you're having to like figure out what self-care looks like now. And I feel like I'm in the same place of like rebuilding like what taking care of myself means and looks like in a sustainable way. But the prioritizing sleep and like some breath work practice has been great.
I am so happy for you that you finally found something that's worked.
I mean, knock on wood, but so far so good. I've been really thinking about our episode with Dr. Sarah Silverman
Mhm.
and like really thinking about how to better prioritize my sleep and sleep hygiene and just also thinking about some of like the negative cognitions I have around sleep and like so if you haven't listened to that episode, definitely highly recommend. So that's been really helpful. So I figured like I've been just trying to say like a good night's sleep will set me up for success, like undoubtedly. So I'm really, really trying to focus on that.
Mhm. I mean, and this kind of goes for everyone, but I feel like not especially for you, but you've emphasized enough on this podcast how like when you are consistent, you are so observant of all of those benefits. And
Mhm.
when you're not, you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. Yes. So let's see. I mean, we'll be checking in every week now. So I'll continue to give a sleep update, but so far so good.
Yeah. All right. Shall we?
We shall. Let's do it.
Yeah. So we are talking about wellness trends for 2024, and there are a ton of lists out there. We grabbed this one from Forbes, and they have a ton of things on their list, things that we like and maybe don't like so much, and we're going to let you know which ones we think are legit.
Yes. And which ones I think we'd actually try too.
Yes.
Mhm. So we'll go through them one by one, maybe define them or describe them, and then maybe talk about the likelihood that we'd use them, or maybe how we see them fitting into wellness from like I don't want to say like a realistic way. I mean, that's the point of our podcast, right?
All right. So let's do number one, vagus nerve stimulation.
Yes, this is an interesting one, but so they define it as essentially doing a simple stimulation of your cranial nerve that can counteract the fight or flight response. But that's just a fancy way of saying doing deep breathing and mindfulness. Also humming, laughing, engaging in joyfulness. That does do such good things to the nervous system and helps turn on our parasympathetic nervous system and helps us create a sense of calm. Like that's the very fancy way of saying like mindfulness is legit and it can help you feel calm. That was what I got from that. Is that what you were hearing?
Yeah, and apparently there was a TikTok trend of
Mhm,
like hashtag vagus nerve stimulation.
mhm,
Um, so naturally I had to look it up. And this is one of the things that I love seeing out there. It's like, yeah, why not push mind body connection? Why not push ways for you to make yourself feel better in times of stress or ways to prevent yourself from getting too stressed? Like, yeah, why not? Let's tell the masses. But like
mhm,
not let's not make it trendy. Let's make it something that sticks.
mhm, mhm. Right, right. And what I do like about this particular one of the 10 that are listed, and there are a few of them that kind of fit into this category for me, are things that again are accessible and effective. We know that they work. And like you had said, like why make it trendy? Like why not just make it part of our daily routine? There's so much great research and evidence to support like the benefits of breathing and mindfulness. So, I mean, if it helps to like make it trendy for people to want to try to do it, I'm all for it. Um, but like it's really good stuff. So I'm like, I'm glad this is a good one to kick us off with because this made me really excited to feel like we're on the same page with Forbes here.
But then
Oh yes, but next.
well, actually, this next one I do like, and especially going off of what you said your self-care it has been, what you've been prioritizing at least, the idea of sleep tourism. So that's their number two. Um, traveling with the intention to rest and recharge seems obvious,
Mhm,
but supposedly hotels like Hilton are catering towards the idea of like developing these kinds of spaces that promote that kind of thing instead of just like, oh, here's your bed. It's like,
mhm,
here's this room for you to really like feel rejuvenated and rested and like, ooh,
mhm.
like count me in. I want to go to that hotel room.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do think that that is a cool angle, I guess, especially like also from a marketing perspective, but that they have started to think about when you are like staying when you are on vacation, like what helps make it as restful as possible. And that, yeah, that a room is so much more than like where you put your belongings, that in order for it to be maybe a well-rounded, again, restful vacation, that like how you sleep and your sleep atmosphere really, really matter. So that was cool to kind of think about is like what those amenities look like. And I was trying to reflect on some of my experiences like on vacations or at different places I've stayed and thinking about like, was the room really set up for a good night's sleep? Like, did they consider that? And there have definitely been places that I've stayed where like the room does get really, really dark at night. And then there are places where it's loud or like, the curtains like let a lot of light through, that kind of stuff. The bed isn't super comfortable. And so it was, again, as someone who struggles with sleep, like nice to know that this is something that, you know, or, companies are thinking about.
Right, right. And I like how you said it's a good marketing tactic,
Mhm,
but like it's such a nice angle to take on like, how can we get somebody who maybe is traveling around this bustling city? How can we get them to come to our hotel? That's like, we know that they're just there for a
mhm.
bed, but like, if they're there for a bed, let's make them there for this bed.
I mean, granted, when I come to Miami, I'm sleeping in like my home, but I was thinking about because I'm going to be traveling back and forth so much, I was like, this is what like business people do. Like they like are basically commuting during the week via plane and getting to their destination or sometimes by car. They're staying in hotels. Like like my sleep is so disrupted. And so I was just because I'm getting up at 3 a.m. or sometimes 2 a.m. and then working a full day. And then I was thinking about like, wow, how cool, how much healthier is that for people that do travel a lot, to have like sleep such a priority in where they're staying and what their accommodations look like, because that's what I feel like really impacts me so much, is especially when I'm traveling a lot and my schedule is off and my sleep is off. So I was also kind of thinking about that from like people that do just travel for necessity, not even for pleasure, that is something that is kind of being considered.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Should we go to the next one,
Mhm.
which I'm going to not pronounce well, unless, do you know how to pronounce this one?
No, I was happy that you were gonna do it.
So the next one is called Dolce far niente.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Well, in Italian, it means the sweetness of doing nothing. And so what Forbes basically said about this is that they were doing some research at resorts around the world, and basically this idea that as a society we're overstressed and overscheduled, there is like little time for joy and self-care and all of that kind of stuff. And so they're kind of borrowing from the practice of Italian cultures in this idea of kind of having a practice of doing nothing. So letting go of maybe the hustle and bustle, and just having a practice where you clear your brain and your schedule in order to feel more relaxed. So kind of borrowing from that siesta type of mentality, maybe.
Yeah. I wrote down that this is like a tattoo I would want to get one day or something. I love the idea of this. I love that like there are words for this, and
Mhm.
that makes it special in its own right. Like we don't have that in American culture, and that says something about American culture.
Oh yeah, yes, for sure. Like the fact that this like made me a little anxious, just the idea of like, oh my God, I'm like, I have to do nothing, like speaks to the way that I am conditioned here.
Mhm.
But just how foreign, no pun intended, it really is for us in this, like our society, our culture.
Well, and I think that it's also telling that we both are probably looking at this and we're like, oh, so how do I do that?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
When
How do
it's
we
like,
do nothing?
how do I do that? What do I need to set myself up so I can do not like I need a tool, I need a wearable, I need an event. Like I don't know how this will be trendy because I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, like it's one of those things. It's like kind of, it almost feels so, again, I'm using the word foreign, like so far from what I can fathom. Like it's such a vague construct to me that I'm like, what does this look like? Like somebody spell it out for me. Like somebody show me what this looks like. Like I can't even picture it. Like my pronunciation of it was terrible. Like my conception of it is even worse. But hold on, I'm kind of curious. I'm going to type this into Google and see if it can pronounce it for us.
Oh, good idea.
Dolce far niente, Italian.
You're Italian enough. You did it.
I got close. Dolce far niente.
Wonderful. At least we know.
Okay, so now we have a sense of how to pronounce it. So maybe that will get us closer to like actually understanding how to do it.
Yeah, sure.
This I'm gonna do some Googling of. I want to learn more about this one. I'm like flagging this as one of these 10 that I'm quite interested in.
Good. Okay. I want you to report back in your self-care menu.
All right, the next one seems very appropriate for you to intro.
I knew you were going to say that because I've talked about the blue zones for forever. Um, First of all, so the next one is blue zone diets. And this is coming off of there was a Netflix docuseries that came out about the blue zone diet called Live to 100.
Mhm.
Um, Basically, for anyone that doesn't know, the blue zones are 5 places, at least 5 right now, in the world that where people live the longest. They have the most centenarians that live there. There's Costa Rica, a place in Costa Rica, um, Loma Linda, California. There's Sardinia, Italy. There's Okinawa, Japan, and there's Icaria, Greece. And all of these places have something in common where it's like they have certain diets that are similar, they have certain ways of living that are similar, like a certain purpose or the amount of supports and relationships that they have. So those they just found it's an anecdotal research, but they just found that all of these places have this certain thing in common and that they have all these people living to 100 or more. So I loved the blue zones like a few years ago. Really just kind of like fell in love with the whole concept. And obviously, like, of course I want to live to 100. So I was just diving into how I could do that. Um, but I mainly love the lifestyle part. Uh, and that's more so because the diet thing can kind of like be pretty variable across all of them. And so I think the diet one isn't necessarily something that we should all go off of. But nonetheless, it's like a very healthy,
Mhm.
nutritious diet. Um, so look into it if you want. But the lifestyle part is really great. And I'm sure it's just trending because the documentary series came out.
Mhm.
But yeah, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's great, like you said, the lifestyle part of it, and that it really does focus on the mind body connection and focuses on the importance of community and relationships as, again, things that also nourish you along with like food and whether it's like certain foods to prioritize or focus on, and maybe like a mindset around food like that, like people can kind of take or leave. But I like the concept of really thinking about not only what we eat, but like who we surround ourselves by, like what we do with our body, how we prioritize sleep, like you said, like the lifestyle part of it. I really like that that is such an emphasis of this. Like I hate calling it a diet because that feels like it makes it so much more narrow than it actually is.
No, that's a great point. It really does expand so much farther than that. And I know that one thing that really continues to stick out to me after I read the book a few years ago is this Okinawan word, which maybe I won't pronounce this one correctly, um, but I think it's ikigai, and that's the reason for being. And so
Mm,
they all have this ikigai that they follow. Throughout their life. And I think it's such a great kind of like foundation for somebody to have while they go along and they do everything that they do.
mm,
Um, it's not necessarily like someone's purpose, but it's like taking that abstract idea of what's my purpose and just finding something that you really love and attaching yourself to that and saying like this is my reason for everything that I do.
mm.
Maybe another tattoo I'll get someday. I'm not all tatted out. Let's just put that out there.
um, so everyone has their own ikigai. Is that
Yeah.
cool? I like it.
Like this one woman's ikigai was um like walking up to like the top of this hill every single
Mm,
day. That it's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be so profound or something. It's literally just to be able to do that. That's her
mm,
ikigai.
mhm.
Love it.
Wow, I love that. It is simple. Mm.
All right, next, speaking of different cultures, um, next is Olympias and spiritual hygiene.
Um, so yes, this one really does have an emphasis and focus on spiritual hygiene, and the limpias comes from Latin American culture, and a lot of what this particular wellness trend, I guess, or practice is involving is around energy, adjusting energy and vibrations and resetting frequencies, that kind of thing. Thinking about and clearing beliefs that don't serve you. So it was actually reminding me a lot of our interview with A, like I guess that was like the end of 2023. And a lot of what she was kind of talking about and the impact that doing this kind of energy and spiritual work has had for her in her life and what it's done for her clients. So I was thinking a lot about her in that conversation when I was reading this.
Yeah, so was I. And I'm actually just really intrigued by um how this particular way of spiritual hygiene is different from like Reiki or
Hmm.
other energy healing practices. So I'd love to learn more about it. I mean, I've never done any of those either, but
Hmm.
like just the fact I like the whole there was a quote in this that was getting somebody was getting his spiritual oil changed.
Mm,
I mean, whoa, don't we all need that every now and then?
yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that. And I think, it's cool to see something like this on a wellness trends list of 2024. Like it does show how much we've shifted, and some of these that like we're going to get to in a second also like show kind of we have how far we've come, because I think, even just a few years ago, you would say something like, you know, shifting your vibration or raising your frequency, and people would be like, you sound like a lunatic, or
Oh,
and there is uh so much, I guess, evidence, whether that's anecdotal or not, that indicates that something like this can be really, really helpful. I've never done it before. I think there's still a part of me that's not skeptical, like almost a little nervous about like letting someone in to like shift my energy, if I'm being super honest. It's like, again, not a
yeah.
skepticism. It's almost like I believe that it really works. And I'm like, what's that going to be like?
I know it's so intimate. It's like somebody like getting inside of your brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess
Yeah.
they could say that about therapists too, but this feels a little different. But it's something I might like, it might be on my like want to try list. Um, but yeah, I feel like I'd have to like talk to a few more people that have done it and like learn, like I want to do more like personal research on it.
Agreed.
Okay. Next up is immersive ASMR. So ASMR has like gotten more popular, of course, over the years. So immersive ASMR is um, actually, how is it different?
So
Like more VR?
it's like having like AI or virtual reality of it. So instead of like the actual physical like tapping um of your keyboard be the ASMR, it's like like I think it's literally like putting on VR glasses
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
like getting that experience through that.
Yeah. Right. So a little like almost like a layer deeper
Yeah.
of this experience.
Yeah. Or like instead of like I guess it's even that much more intentional about it because I think
Mm.
like ASMR can kind of just like catch you, right? Like if you're just like in a room and then you hear someone whispering, like it can just have that effect on you. But then this is like, ooh, let me like get my ASMR kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. What is your, are you an ASMR person?
No. Um, no, I think like even so, like when I first started hearing about this, it seemed like so foreign to me. I was so confused. And I think I heard about it from one of our marketing interns initially. I was like, what's going on out
Hmm.
there? Um, I think it's a cool concept. I don't know, it hasn't caught on to me
Hmm. Hmm.
just yet.
You know what I'm thinking about? Season one of The White Lotus,
Uh-huh.
where the two like college students, basically I forget, Sydney Sweeney and whatever her friend's
Mhm.
name was, like they like get high and they do ASMR with like the light, like flicking the lighter in their ears and like whatever else they're doing.
Yeah.
And but that's my only like that's the closest exposure I have to ASMR.
Like, can I just say, I thought you were gonna say it was the White Lotus soundtrack.
Oh, the warble.
That'd be the weirdest ASMR. Like, fetish.
Uh, but ASMR, like I know for so many people, like ASMR is something that like feels like, I don't know, really calming. I imagine like if there's like some sort of substance use involved, like it might heighten the experience. But ASMR is actually something for me that like has the opposite effect, where I think it almost feels like nails on a chalkboard for me. Like these kinds of like sounds or sensations or like light touches, like whatever that, like I just like if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see like I'm like recoiling. So this is like not it for me, but I know that it's very um helpful to so many people.
Unless, do waves crashing count?
Mm, I will have to Google, because if waves crashing count,
You're
then I'm
definitely
totally in. That's like a sound that I listen to, or like a rainstorm. That's like part of my ambient noises that like put me to sleep at night. So I don't know what like counts for ASMR.
okay. Another thing to look more into.
Yes. Okay. It sounds like we're coming away with this with like more questions.
Yeah. Um, the next, therapeutic psychedelics. I have
Mm,
heard a lot about this in the last couple of years.
mhm.
Also speaking of Netflix documentaries, did you watch How to Change Your Mind?
No.
So that was one where it was based off of a book that Michael Pollan wrote, and it talks about all of these psychedelics, MDMA, um, psilocybin, and like how how it can have these therapeutic effects on people, and how over the years or like that's like I think they said that's where it was initially developed, and then it kind of just like got off
Mm,
track, and then that's when we found all these, other issues among them.
mhm,
um but very fascinating to think that these drugs that were once only seen as like big no-nos,
mhm,
could really have positive effects on people, and
mhm.
especially with like PTSD, anxiety, depression.
Right, right. And for both of us as therapists, like I know there have been so many more trainings around like just being more informed about these things, like from a practitioner standpoint, because they are becoming very, very popular and widely used to treat, as you're saying, like PTSD, depression, et cetera. So like even from our perspective as therapists, like we're really getting a lot more information or opportunities to grow our knowledge base here, because it's becoming more widely used.
Yeah. I think the problem in calling this like trendy is that
Mhm,
like somebody might read this and be like, ooh, let me get me some of that. And like,
mhm.
like that's not what they're trying to say here. That it
No.
really still is something that needs to be highly regulated, and like very, 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 very small doses of these
Mhm.
things. Like I don't even know what kind of micrograms of something that you'd be taking.
Yes. Right. I mean, I definitely have had people, whether it's like um clients or just like people in my life, have said like, oh, I've heard, for example, like mushrooms are really helpful to depression or to PTSD. Like, so I think I'm just going to microdose and try it. And it's like, again, as you're saying, like, yes, there is all of this really good research, but that doesn't mean like just give it a whirl. Like,
Yeah.
definitely do it under the oversight of a professional in this aspect, because you
Yeah.
could really have a really bad experience or a bad journey. So definitely, if you're interested in this, find a reputable, credentialed, trained practitioner to support you in it.
Yeah. It's still a drug.
Still a drug, yeah. And this is literally your mind we're talking about here. So like we want to be, of course, careful with it.
Mhm. Okay, I love this next one, and I don't want to like spoil my spoiler game later, but I
Mhm,
really, really love this next one. Um, cycle syncing, where you actually balance your hormones based on things that you are eating, and moving, the ways that you're
mhm,
moving your body. So you can sync your menstrual cycle by eating certain foods, and then you should also move your body a certain way at different times of the month, depending on which
Mhm.
phase of your cycle you're in. Like, this is something that's like huge right now, and
Mhm.
something that's like very personal to me. That I've been trying to do this for the last couple of years, and I gotta say, it worked. The last 3 months.
Mhm. Mhm.
Have something to say for it. Um, yeah, this one's just like a wow factor for me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I see what you're saying. Like we're going with our game later. Yeah, this is really cool to see it's on here. I'm not surprised it's on here. We will have a guest at some point soon to talk more about this. I'm super excited about this. I mean, you and I talk all the time about like how little research there is around like just women's bodies and women's health. And so it's cool to see that like we're finally catching up and we're using this information to learn more about like again, our bodies, our cycles are so different than men. And so to be able to have this information to arm us well and just feel more empowered around like and just understand more about like how our body works and how our body functions and how we can best take care of it like feels so exciting. Um and also feels so validating like when there's just certain times of my cycle where I'm like oh I like can't push myself as hard or don't have endurance or feel so weak. It's like oh this is why like it's not just me being lazy or tired or whatever. So I'm excited that there's so much more of an emphasis on this for sure.
It's exciting.
Yes, so more to come from us on that. Well,
Mhm.
not necessarily from us but a guest of ours
Yeah.
soon. Okay, next up we have AI powered precision nutrition. And also kind of not surprising to see something AI focused on here, given again, the way AI has sort of like taken over, especially within this last year. But essentially, the idea with AI powered precision nutrition is I mean, it kind of says it all in the name, just that there are a lot of avenues to get much more precise with um, how we can eat to best kind of fuel our body. And so whether it's through, I mean, there's so many ways to do it now, whether it's through like um, blood tests or
Continuous glucose monitors.
yes, yes.
Yeah, which are amazing. I love how like different food combination, like you can find out different food combinations and different foods that you can eat that will spike your blood sugar, and
Mhm,
that um like these things aren't just for people with diabetes anymore. They're making them
mhm.
now for everybody,
Yeah,
because it's so important to keep your blood sugar from spiking.
yeah.
Um, it's pretty. This is a really cool one. I think this is really special and very, again, kind of like the last one, just very telling of where things are headed and where people
Mhm.
are so focused on um, when it comes to their overall health and optimizing their health.
Totally, totally. And I think the only thing that I really worry about with this is that it can, for like I'd say like a particular type of person or personality, like can become something that becomes really obsessive. I'm thinking about like orthorexia, where, you know, someone becomes like highly obsessive about health or their health. And so like this is definitely a slippery slope if that's like part of your personality, or you have maybe a history with disordered eating or something like that, that it might not be as helpful to you. It might be more harmful to you. So this is probably one of those things where you really need to know yourself,
Mm.
to know if this will be something that's used for good or for like unease for you.
And the last one on the list is rucking, walking, basically walking with a weighted vest.
Mhm. We've amped up the hot girl walk,
Yeah.
weighted girl walk.
It was no longer enough. Let's
Mhm.
add a pack.
Mhm.
I've done this before. It's actually really hard.
I bet.
And then also like if you just do it with a tiny human, it's also a version of it.
That
Strap them on.
works too.
I think this is like a nice, yeah, it's like we vamped up the hot girl walk, and
Mhm,
like that's a nice way to put it. It's like
mhm,
we all know walking's so great for us. Here's let's throw in this other thing and make
mhm,
it a little more tough, little
mhm.
tougher.
Yeah. Do you think like I mean again in Miami, like everyone's out and about walking, and not that this doesn't exist in other places, but I see a lot of like ankle weighted walks. Do you think that that could count? Or do you think it's about just having the extra weight on your chest?
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder like we'd have to look into
Hmm. More things.
how the weight distribution like would play a part in it.
Right.
And like if like like the classic mom walk of like having
Mhm.
little dumbbells in your hand, like does that
Yeah.
count? I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
Or is this like just its own version of a heavier walk?
Right. Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. And rucking is associated with like building endurance and like better heart health and like burning more calories, of course. And so, yeah, I'm curious about these other ways to do weighted walks or weighted workouts and if those things have the same effect.
Mhm. I rucked in the grocery store yesterday.
Oh yeah. How heavy was your weight?
Um, Pushing 16 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
She's a chonker.
That's heavy. I mean,
Yeah,
like that's a lot to always hold.
after a while,
Yeah. That's
that's
heavy.
it's a heavy rock.
Yeah. I'm not trying to body shame your baby. I'm just,
I know. Neither am I. I love her little rolls. They're the best.
but yeah, that gets heavy after a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. After an hour, I'm like, we're done here.
Okay, so those are the 10.
Those are them.
So we thought we would play a little game you might be familiar with. And again, apologies in advance for the profanity. But we thought we would do a little fuck, marry, kill as it relates to these trends. So how are we defining each of these categories? Fuck would be like something that you'd maybe want to try. Marry would be something that you really want to kind of like commit to, and kill would be like something that you don't want to do, like hate, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm actually changing mine since I prepared.
Oh, okay.
I'm changing what I want to kill because I was like actually like, oh, I kind of like that now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. You'll have to give us some insight as we go through.
All right. Which one will you fuck?
I'm kind of like going in between um the dolce far niente and the spiritual hygiene. I'm like kind of those aren't things that I think I can sustain
Mhm.
or want to. But I'm like kind of interested. Like they kind of like I'm intrigued. Like I think it could be fun time, memorable experience, perhaps. So I'm kind of torn between the two of those.
One that you might brag about that you've tried.
One that I might like feel a little like embarrassed about.
Nonetheless, it goes on a list and you don't think
Yeah.
about it ever.
Right, right. Yes. So that's kind of what I was dabbling with. What about you?
Mine was Dolce Far Niente
Oh, okay.
for the
When,
exact same reasons. Like, I don't
yeah,
think that it's something that I would keep up if that it's something that I just like want to give it a go.
give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about Mary?
If I wasn't as obvious as I thought that I was, cycle syncing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, this is something I was did on and off for years for different reasons. And then the last reason was, hey, my cycle is really irregular. I want to get it regular so that I know when I'm ovulating so I can try to freaking have a baby.
Mhm.
And then that's what I'm saying worked. Or so I think that's the source of what worked. Um, I think that this is just so powerful and so powerful for women in general because we are just so different. We're built so different to have um like to have a what is it that men men's hormones recycle every 24 hours and ours are every 28 days. So or more, if you're someone like me. So that just goes to show how focused we do need to be on these kinds of things and how powerful it can be when we are. So I am marrying this. I am, gonna have a 50-year anniversary with this marriage.
I love it. I was kind of again torn between cycle syncing also, but figured you might take that one. So I would like to marry the vagus nerve stimulation. I feel like that is it would lead to a very happy, peaceful life if it was something that I could commit to. And I feel like I'd be very happy in a long-term relationship with some more consistent, regular mindfulness, basically. So
Live happily ever after.
I'd live happily ever after. Like even the thought of it like brings some calm and some ease. So yeah, I think I'd like to marry that. I mean, if it didn't work out, I would seek out the cycle syncing as like a second marriage. But
Mhm. Okay. And when you'd be ignoring vagus nerve stimulation, your marriage would be so off. You would be so off.
true.
That mind body connection
Yes.
would be off.
It's really true. So it would like really need to be a commitment. Like I
Mhm.
would really need to be in it to win it. And I have high value of marriage, so I feel good about my ability to also have a 50-year anniversary down the line.
Okay. Who are you killing?
ASMR can get the fuck out. I cannot get out of here. It like really
Whoa.
makes me stressed to think about. And I mean, again, caveat, if waves crashing counts, then I'll come back and you know edit my statement. But just yeah, ASMR. I'm just like not here for. And then if I'm wrong about what ASMR means, then I would kill off the AI powered nutrition because I would be that person that would probably like just get too obsessive where it would just like take up so much of my time and I could imagine myself at the grocery store like agonizing. So I feel like so maybe I'll just change my answer in case I don't know enough about ASMR. I'm gonna kill AI powered precision nutrition that I would be in the camp of like not healthy for me. So
Yeah.
that's where I am.
I mean, tell me how you really feel.
I'm holding nothing back from you, Catherine. It's been too long.
No, it's been too long. I love keep it going. So I was originally going to kill sleep tourism.
Ah,
And then when we really started talking about when we really started talking about it, I really started to think about the shitty places that I've stayed and how I could have gotten a better sleep and it could have made that vacation better. Um, I actually really like that one. And I would, if there was like an equivalent to an Airbnb website of like, where am I going to get my best night's sleep? Because I just want to like go and explore this great place and then like fall into bed somewhere. Um, I would be all up on that website.
hmm,
So should I amend that? I don't know. But that should be a thing.
it
And
should be a thing.
um I'm no longer killing it. I actually might want to marry it if I traveled enough. So what I would
Sounds like a
actually
very
pull.
healthy marriage. Like initially when I met you, I wanted to kill you. And now I just want to spend the rest of my life with you.
But you've had those people before, right? Where
Of
you meet them
course, with
and
my
you don't.
husband.
I hate
And
you.
if
I
you watch
love you.
Reactivity TV, you can maybe understand why. But
So I will also be killing AI powered
mm,
precision nutrition.
why is that?
Purely for the fact that like, can we just all chill out? Like let's all just like do things that make us feel good and do things that make us the I don't know. Like I just think, yeah, I think there's an obsession area that this could go into, and like that could be it. Like there are people that could really benefit from this. And if you are really like if you are somebody that's really struggling to lose weight, for instance, and really want to, then maybe getting a CGM is really helpful for you to do that. Or if you're pre-diabetic and you really don't want to get there, this could be really great for you. Saying that like maybe everybody should get these things, or like even my husband with his Aura ring sometimes, I know that's not necessarily nutrition based. This is like sleep based. Like sometimes he gets a little obsessy over his sleep score. And I'm like, maybe one day you wake up and you're just like, I got a shitty night's sleep, or I got a great night's sleep. Can we just leave it at that sometimes?
Hmm.
Let's all do that and then live and see how long we live for.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. And I think like with so much emphasis on AI, right? Like we lose intuition in a
Mhm.
sense. And again, like if for people that like maybe don't have the knowledge or maybe aren't as feeling connected to their body, like that's hard to practice. But like I would love to get to a point in myself and feeling like I'm hungry. I could really go for like a nice grain bowl and like have that be it. And even if that's not like what I'm quote unquote supposed to be eating, like I would like to just try to go with what I'm feeling like I'm wanting and needing in the moment. And I think when we rely so much on technology, like we lose that. We like literally give our brain to somebody else. So
Okay, that's our game.
yes.
If you all agree, listeners, if you're agreeing with our fuck, marry, kill list, let us know. If you are disagreeing, if you're an ASMR lover, let us hear it.
Yeah. Teach me some things. Point
Yeah.
point me in a direction toward like a, I don't know, Spotify playlist or like a YouTube channel or something. I don't know. Convince me. I'm open.
Now, before we ended, there was one thing that we wanted to talk about where like things maybe we wish were on this list or
Hmm.
things that we thought could be on this list.
Hmm.
So, was there anything that you could think of, or was there anything you could think of?
Yes, actually, it's funny that you kind of opened our podcast with this because one area that I thought was really missing was something about skincare. I feel like why did we not see anything about that? And so I felt like that's an area of wellness that I'm more just like seeing more about, whether it's like clean beauty or just I don't know, taking good care of your skin. Like we've only got one skin. And so anyway, and maybe I'm just like more paranoid about it because I'm aging and thinking about that more. But I would have loved to see more on the like skincare side of things that I'm just surprised we didn't really get much.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that. Um, and I totally agree that that's like out there right now. So
Hmm.
I'm surprised.
Right.
Um, Mine would have been like some sort of obscure trending workout. And
Mm,
rucking doesn't count because it's not like a group workout. I love when there's like the weirdest group workout thing that like people latch onto for a year and then forget about. And I really wanted to hear about what that was. Like, I remember a few years ago, it was like and I really wanted to do it. It was like this surfboard class where
mm,
like it's like this balancing surfboard
I remember
and
that.
like and then like what happened to it? It's gone. Like I want to know what that new one is.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there have been, maybe this wasn't a group fitness class, but like the moon boots, like
Yes.
people were using, or Actually, one of
Or
our
like
colleagues,
rebounder classes,
yes,
trampoline.
that literally was just where I was going. It's like, okay, what happened? Like, are people still doing those?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. That did feel to be missing. Other than Rucky, there really wasn't any exercise related wellness trend that they forecasted. Do you have a favorite like wellness trend like throughout the years, like something that you've seen?
I'd like to like I wish it was like non-alcoholic spirits or wines because like I'm not a huge drinker and like right now I'm not drinking really
Mhm.
much of anything except for like every once in a while. Um oh, which by the way, I had the prosecco you gave me.
Oh.
It's a fun night. And yeah, I feel like that whole non-alcoholic thing is really lifting off.
Mhm.
And like I feel like I would be somebody that would hop on that. I just haven't really dove and I just really haven't gotten there yet.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like the alcohol-free
Yeah. Just
community, basically, or
like
beverages.
here's a fun drink, have it or not. And it's non-alcoholic. I don't know. What about you?
Mhm. I love a hot girl walk. That felt like it was so prominent over the last couple of years. So I like that like walking has become trendy. Um, I also like with TikTok, things go like so in and out quickly, but like even the tart cherry juice at bedtime trend, I am here for. I like it. It's made a nice addition to my like nightcap, quote unquote. So like those like micro trends that tend to like go in and out, I've enjoyed. But yeah, hot girl walk, I love. I did one this morning with my like big ass Stanley, just like all the other gals.
There, your Stanley. That's another one. That counts.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Big water
Yeah.
jug. Okay.
Okay. Well, those are the top 10 wellness trends from Forbes and our take on them.
Mostly positive, I'd say.
Mostly, for sure.
And if there are any of these wellness trends that you want to hear more about, if you'd like to have us have a guest on to talk more about, clearly we have a lot to learn. So if there are any of these in particular that you also want to learn more about, let us know and we will find a guest, or if you can recommend someone that you think could speak on these things a little bit more, please let us know. As we said, we will have a guest on to talk about cycle syncing, which Catherine and I are both excited about. So stay tuned for that. And, now that we are back in the recording studio, we have a lot of really fun content coming your way, but we always want to hear from you about what you want to hear more about. So definitely reach out to us at wishingyouvell@revivecfw.com for any podcast suggestions, guest ideas, listener questions, all that good stuff. Okay. So does that wrap us up for the day? Are we done? We did it?
We did it.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for following along with us, for listening. You can also check us out on YouTube if you're not already at our YouTube channel, Revive Center for Wellness. Also on our YouTube channel, we have another podcast called Reactivity TV. It's actually a podcast with me and my husband where we talk about reality TV, specifically the Bachelor franchise, and it has blown up. So we'd love to have you as a viewer, subscriber, liker, commenter over there as well. So go check that out. You can also follow along with us on Instagram at ReviveCFW. You can follow me at Amy Albero, LCSW, Catherine at Catherine Van Eyck. Check out our website, revivecfw.com. And again, send us those emails to wishingyouvell@revivecfw.com. Until next time, we are wishing you well. Bye.